San Diego Global Knowledge University.
Thank you for joining. I'm really excited to bring back or to continue with this project of the Alumni Spotlight, as it is called, inviting some of our distinguished alumni to who came back to the school, to his home, to tell you guys what they did, the career uh, path that they follow after here, to give you some advices, and mainly as an opportunity for all of you to ask questions. So I will try to keep it light from our side and then give the opportunity for all of you to ask as many questions as you may have. Uh, I see a lot of new faces. So for those that don't know me, my name is Sergio Insunza. I will be your teacher at the end of the course, 118, 119, 120, for either full stack or MDI1 iOS. I'm looking, do we have Naquis here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are. Yeah, yeah, sorry. I was looking for you. So today I have the pleasure to introduce Nakwi Darby. He was our distinguished student on the full stack program. Do you remember which cohort were you in?
I actually forgot because it was so long ago. I was actually on the same cohort as Leo. So
Oh, oh,
That's
nice,
that's
Leo.
right. That's right. Yeah, very good students in that cohort. 27.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good students. As in any other cohort, we also have really good students. I think we have the fortune of having really good students all over the place. So cohort 27, and we are, or at least I'm in with cohort 60 right now. So it has been a while. Nice to see you back. Nice to have you here again. Now as a speaker. Thank you. So yeah, let's start. I think it's time, and people still joining in, but let's get started. So you graduated a couple of years ago.
yes,
What happens after that?
I think the real journey begins. I was really just trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, and I was working for a solar company where I had the privilege to I had the privilege to kind of learn from their DevOps. And they were down some people, and I was at that time I was working in marketing, and they were down some people. So I told them what I knew, and they brought me in and kind of trained me up and whatnot. So from there I was just really interested, and then I went to do a internship with a company that provides medical equipment through an application, through an app. And they put me in charge of building their website, which to be honest, it was kind of wild because they had a preset website, but it um it definitely needed some work. So I was in charge of that. And eventually we brought on two other people, and that's kind of where I started to get my chops. And I started to understand that some of the things that I was doing in school was just the basics. So it just took a lot of research and everything like that. And on top of that, I was also starting to venture out, where I had this program where I would, to get a larger portfolio and just to really be able to do the job, I started to offer free websites for small businesses. I went on Facebook, and anybody on my Facebook list, I was like, if you're a small business, I do your website for free. It wasn't to maintain the website or anything, but it was really just to give me practice, to understand my shortcomings, and just to really kind of to perfect the craft. Now it was only in certain languages because that's all I knew at that time. So, but the more I kind of did it, I started to understand which languages I liked it best, which was easier for me, and the way in which my mind worked. because I'm pretty sure once anybody who's in the full stack program, you're going to understand that later, which one works better for you, and you'll kind of go after jobs that that do that. And yeah, and from there, I met a guy, and he was like, you know what, you probably should we have these free programs, and he started telling me about cybersecurity certificates,
Oh,
and I started
damn.
to do a lot of those certs, and they were hard. I'm talking about some of the things I had never seen before, but it kind of just led me down my own professional rabbit hole, to where I just was trying to do everything because I didn't know where I was going. And I have a degree in business also. And just one day I wake up and I see on LinkedIn that a company has a recruiter from a company said, "You're exactly what we're looking for, and all of your certifications is exactly what we're looking for, and you know about websites and everything like this." And they wanted me to apply, and eventually I got the job, and I'm at the company still to this day. And I also have my own little side project where I'm actually building a social media app. So so
Nice, nice. I mean, it's great, 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 great. So, uh, you touched on really important topics. Like, I really like your phrase of whatever works for you and for the way that your brain works. You were referring to technologies and languages, I assume?
yes.
Okay, that's great, and that's one of the reasons here we have a select list of technologies and languages that we show to everyone that we teach here. I mean, it could be easier to say we'll teach JavaScript and everyone will learn JavaScript and that's it, right? But what if you don't like JavaScript? What if Python is your thing? Or what if you are more on the front end, on the back end, on the database side? That's why here on the full stack program we show the hot languages from the areas so the students can choose. On the mobile programs there are more focus, right? On iOS it's
Mhm.
just Swift for iOS, or Java for Android, or Kotlin for Android. But in full stack, as a full stack developer, you need to know a little bit more of those languages. And my recommendation is exactly what you said. Learn about, choose the one that you like the most, and get better at it. If for you it's Python, do Python.
And you, one of the things in which I have always, actually going through the program and come like always, even if you code it beforehand, which I did before I actually did the full stack program, was always trying to keep an open mind and understanding my reasoning for being here now, and understanding what the program is meant to teach. And that was one of my biggest things, was just trying to hone in on the basics. And with the full stack program, especially, or when you go through the mobile programs, it's meant to teach the basics. And because when you go out there, you're going to have a bunch of frameworks that it is rare that you're going to it's rare that you're going to actually use a full, like, basic language. Is usually going to be stacked on frameworks, which makes it easier to code for, when you're actually trying to put an app out there. You don't have the time to do everything by the basic, or like HTML. You'll never probably use HTML in the way in which you'll use in the full stack program actually out there in the world. Even though the principles are still the same, you would never use it. You will probably be using a framework that is going to allow. But learning the basics is going to build that foundation for you to understand the frameworks and how to actually, how HTML works at a basic level, or how CSS works at a basic level. And then you can learn frameworks from there.
Yeah, thank you, and yeah, of course, that's again something that I always mention, or at least used to when I was teaching React. That uh, here we show you the core of the technologies, the core of JavaScript, the core of HTML, the core of React, and the core of Python and whatever. And you need to learn the basics. You need to learn the core of the technology because out there that core will be using a different set of technologies, and we don't have a time, and no one has the time to learn all, right? So we show you the core. Now you apply that core to the area that you like the most and specialize there, like you mentioned that you did. So that's great.
Just a little side note, my one of my favorite languages is React Native Expo, especially for
Oh,
me doing
okay.
projects on my own. It's probably one of the fastest development times. So, like you said, React, and then you got React Native, and then you got
Mm-hmm.
React Native Expo. So
Mm-hmm.
those are frameworks piled on each language. So it's
I mean, that's great. I feel a little bit ambivalent towards Expo. I have used React Native and React Expo. I really like React. I love React. But at the same time, I love native development, and we have programs here for native iOS and native Android.
mhm.
And yesterday, with one of the groups, we were talking about the ups and downs of a React Native. So it's it's a really good option. It's a really good technology that it's like there are a ton, right? For anything that you want to do, you will find a lot of technologies and options. Choose the one that you like the most.
And and one of the big things to understand when you're choosing a language to go with, because like if you're using, it's going to all have its pros and its cons. Using Kotlin or Swift UI, those are native to Android, and those
Hmm.
artificial well, Kotlin is Android, Swift is iOS. Those are native, so they're going to have some benefits, which is going to be more seamless with the technology in which you're trying to put out. But it depends on your team size, and what you're
Exactly.
doing is going to determine what language you're probably going to want to go with. And for me, when it comes to, even though it is dependent heavy, like a React Native Expo, because you have to have so many dependencies, there are some, when you're actually compiling this and to put it onto Android or whatever, it's going to have some issues that it's not going to run as smooth as if you developed it on Kotlin. So it just really depends, but it's faster for if you're a small team, or if it's just you by yourself, like it usually is with me. It's me by myself. Now with the company I work for, we use it all. Well, we use
Hmm.
Kotlin, we use Swift, and we use many different languages. So it's just like it just depends on your need and what you're trying to accomplish, as whether you have a team or not.
Yeah. I think with native technology or hybrid technologies like React Native, the team and the budget, it's the main factor to decide where you go. I hear you talk, and I'm impressed of the knowledge that you have, the level of which you speak about technologies and languages and all of that. Um, I wanna get back a little bit. Did you have any experience before joining the school, before joining the program on technology and codings?
A little bit, not enough. I always say not enough to speak of, because one thing about school and being open, it'll humble you. You think you know things until you actually go and they start asking you some of the most basic things. And you may not know what it is, but you know how to work it. And I think that was one of my main things about coming and actually doing the full stack program to begin with, was just to get back, learn the basics, and having a foundation that when you go into those job interviews and they're giving you these tests, because a lot, especially being a developer, you're going to have some type of test during the interview process. And it's usually not the most difficult things. They A lot of time, that what you will probably mess up on is the most basic things about those in those interviews. And I that's really what I wanted to focus on, is getting back to the basics. Well, getting to the basics and understanding the basics about what it is that I call my craft. So yeah. So I had a little bit, but I soon I soon understood that I had a lot more to learn.
Exactly, and I think that was one of my points that I want to get to with the question, because you were talking about things that we didn't cover on the full stack. You were talking about hybrid and Kotlin and iOS. So that I guess you agree with me that this career it's a constant learning that you can never stop learning.
I, I definitely agree with you. I say this, you can't go into this career path and then think you're going to take a year off and things haven't changed. You have to constantly be on, and it's one of those careers that even with my job we have to do continuous education every year, whether
Mhm.
it's certification, renewing certifications and everything like that. But it's you're going to continuously be learning, and but that's how you perfect your craft or try to perfect your craft, is by continuously staying involved in what's new and what's going on within the field.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that you cannot be off for a year. I mean, if you go, if you once you take the 2 weeks vacation and you get back to coding, it takes a week for the brain to warm up and start getting into the coder mentality. Now, imagine getting away for a few months. It will be a huge cold start again. So. Uh, it's really fun that part. I mean, you will see, guys. You will see once you get there, how a week or two affects the developer mentality, or you need to get the ball rolling again to get into the mood. So, is it still a little bit in shock that you were giving free websites away. Like you get a free website, you get a free website, and everyone gets a free website on your Facebook page. Yeah, you do it. Look under your seat, you have a free website there. So you were looking for practice, right? That was your main motivation there.
Yeah, it was, that's the main motivation, was to build my portfolio to be able to say, because it's easy to say, oh, I took this course and I feel like I can. The world has some way of, like I say, it has some way of humbling you. Is you now you done took this course and you're like, I'm ready to face the world, and then you see that, hold up, all right, let's try to do this without a teacher instruction. Let's try to do this. And I remember my first couple of websites, it was because I saved every video. I saved all of my notes. I had a hard drive. It was a 3 terabyte hard drive with all of the videos from classes, I saved everything. And I remember going back and, where did I see this? What video was that we learned this on? And then I start to realize, okay, this is going to take me understanding how to actually go into, whether it's React document portal, and actually understanding what they're trying to do, what you're trying to do, and what it is that I'm trying to get this thing to do. So, and it just took, also on top of that, just learning on my own. And I just wanted to go through that learning curve. And I was blessed enough to have some time to be able to, you know, do some free websites. And I gave realistic expectations on when it would be completed and whatnot. And eventually I started to feel more and more comfortable with just even from the basics of starting projects from start to end, and how to build out. Because what really kicked my butt was trying to go back and do databases. And I was just so it takes some time to really get comfortable in your skin with whatever language that you're using, because you're going to pick one. Once you figure out what it is that I want to do and understand how to actually like from even from UXs, and understanding how much that makes your doing the work in front before will make your life a lot easier later on. Trust me, I did it for you. Please, everything that they're talking about with building your where what is going to go to what database, and or how to build the frameworks and everything for the databases and everything, you're going to need it. You're definitely going to need it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so once you finish the program here and you were practicing and creating websites for free, were you actively applying for jobs, or you wanna take some time to prepare yourself before you start looking for one?
I was actively, not as active as I um as I really wanted to because I understood that I wasn't ready yet. Uh, like I said, but I had the opportunity because also I'm one of those people that's really I seek out like I'm really curious. So I went out and I seen that my company that I was with had a shortage. Every company needs some type of dev ops like
Mm-hmm.
development operation
Yep,
because
yep,
they
yep.
probably got a website or anything. And I seen that they had some shortages, and I would just go, whether it was on my lunch break, whether it was 15 minutes that I have, and I just kept just bothering them until they gave me an opportunity to just learn. Like, hey, I don't want to be a part of y'all yet. Just give me the opportunity. Just let me learn something from y'all. And eventually they started to just teach me things that I wouldn't know myself. And I just took that and I would apply it to the websites that I would be building. Oh, this is why this wasn't working or whatever it may be. And I think one of the biggest things that it taught me was data flow. And even though we learned it in full stack, no one never you don't understand until you start really building websites and applications how difficult that thing it can go, especially when you're right in the middle of why something isn't going to this specific specific spot. Why is this data not going to here, or why is it not, I just keep getting this error on it didn't do this or it didn't do that. So yeah, they taught me how to get certain things to work and everything like that. So it was
Nice. That's great. I
I
mean
had that
that's
opportunity.
that's pretty great. That's amazing that you had that opportunity. And as you mentioned a few times, um, here we try to cover the core. We are in an immersive course. We cannot dedicate 6 months to just databases and another year to just algorithms, right? We need to be on a fast paced and that's not easy. That requires some time and requires dedication. And speaking of that, do you remember if you practice outside the class or it was just attending the classes and that was it until the next one?
Uh, always was practicing outside of class. Like, I don't think you can do this just like even when you actually working within the field. I still feel like you should always have side projects, whether it's something simple like little small apps or little small websites or anything that don't, but it's still sharpening. You know how they always say, you always should be sharpening your iron
Hmm,
because if not, it's kind of one of those things, either you use it or lose it. So, and you're not going to understand. And even if you're doing, because what a lot of people don't understand when you get jobs, you're doing a very specific thing. They no longer need you to build everything. So if you're not doing it on your own, you're definitely going to use it and you're definitely not going to be sharp in other areas. And it's like anything else, if you don't do it, then you're not going to be as good in it. It's always practice, 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 practice. And so even I'm back here now. So I'm actually in the mobile development. So
Oh,
like,
great, great,
yes, I'm
great.
back.
That's
I am back.
great.
Because I am an Android person and I love
Hmm.
Android, so I had to come learn iOS. Unfortunately, it anybody who's Android
Yeah,
know
you will
that is
love it. You will
pain.
love it. You will love it. We'll see.
No,
We'll see.
I'm learning a lot, and I have had wonderful instructors. So I'm just learning a lot, and it shows me again it's more that I have to learn. So
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, Practice, practice, practice. I think that's one of the reasons we have these spotlights. It's because we the teachers we always tell you guys or the students practice is the key, keep practicing and do this and practice, but it's not the same hearing it from the teacher than hearing it from every single alumni that comes back to here and says the same. You guys need to practice. So thank you for that. I want to open the floor for questions. Anyone, just raise your hand, open your mic, and
I do have.
yeah.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Nice to see you again, all of you. Naquis, now that you mentioned this thing of being back and everything, could you please share with the guys what we talked the other day during the class about this feeling of I don't know everything, and I'm not memorizing what I'm learning. Like I'm not memorizing the code, and this feeling of not knowing everything, right?
Um, you know, I say this, and this comes back from something that I learned when I was in the military. And one of my bosses used to always say, "Die by the manual." So that's kind of how I look at it when it comes to code. If you don't know it, as long as you know where I can find to learn how to actually do it, that's all you really need. You don't need to know everything. It is impossible to remember everything that you need to in this in coding. So, but as long as you know where I can find it, you'll be able to solve any question, because fortunately we had people before us who basically figured out most of the problems in which you're going to face on a day-to-day basis. So you're never going to have to know it all. So but as long as you know where to find it, you'll be great. And that's why I mentioned earlier about the document portal of these languages. That's where you can find, they will teach, each language has a document portal that basically teaches you how to use their language, how to call certain actions, or do certain things within their language in the way in which they do it. So as long as you know how to do that, there's nothing that you can't learn or come back to and be like, okay, well, I'm trying to do this. Okay, this is how I do it.
Thank you. And I will take the opportunity here to ask you a related question. Uh, every time that we talk that I talk to the students, they feel that they are not ready, that once they get to the industry, they are a little bit of afraid of not knowing or not being able to perform. Uh, how was your experience? Was the company expecting you to just solve everything for tomorrow, or they give you the opportunity to find and learn?
Well, welcome to the club. we if you feel like you're not ready, we never feel like we're ready. In every job
Yeah.
opportunity or anything, especially when you're starting fresh, you're just like, what is it that I'm going to do? But luckily, when you go, especially with tech companies, you're going to come onto the job and you're not going to do anything really coding related, because they're going to train you. Even though
Mhm.
this is supposed to be your profession, you still have to get training on their way of doing things and how they, because then you have to also understand project management and how to flow, how they do all of their project management aspects, meeting times. Because a lot of times, I said in my class, one, you're going to be doing very specific things. They're going to tell you what they want you to do in your area of what you're going to be doing. You're never coding a lot, especially with things that are already established. You're never really coding a lot. And you're going to go through, it's going to go through so many rounds of peer review and QA and all types of tests. By the time that code actually hit that website, it's going to be what it's supposed to be. So you'll
Mhm.
never have to worry about, okay, I'm not ready. Most companies will train you, and because you can't just depend on, and that's why companies ask for a little bit of experience, because can't just depend on people actually just school alone. That you have to get that experience, and then they have to also make sure they teach what they expect.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Great answer. Barney, you had a question?
Yes, I'm hold on a second. Can you hear me?
Yep. All
Yeah,
good.
I'm new to this field, so I came with I start with that expectation that I'm not gonna know everything. And I been at 27 years as a police officer, I learned as a rookie. What you learn in the academy is not what you learn in the street. So this basically what I'm learning in here, I'm not gonna go on the street thinking I know everything. Because that's a pill for failure. And
Mhm.
I'm very open-minded, and I, I I crave for learning more stuff as I go. I mean, even like the gentleman stated, I force myself. I sat down and for my own purpose, I sat down. I wrote a website for my wife. She's a retail agent. No, she has a retail store, and I sat down and made a web page for her. And I'm learning that it's not so much just when I build a web page and I got pretty pictures and I got all of this reactive stuff. It steals a whole lot of things that I don't know, but I'm learning when I'm actually interacting with the page, and I'm learning from hands-on that it looked good until I start doing stuff, then I break it. So I gotta I gotta learn more stuff, but I gotta get better, and that's my each time I fail, I don't make the same mistake twice. And just when I think I know it, I know something else come up. And that's why I learned by being open-minded. I love this course. I came in this course with, I don't know, Jack. And when I graduate, I'm gonna be at, maybe I learn something. And that's where I'm at right now. And trying to get into
Awesome.
this field, I'm glad he spoke to me about, he spoke about when you go to a job, they don't expect you to know everything, but
Hmm.
everyone's supposed to take you on the wing and teach you what you need to know. And when I put out the application right now, I'm looking at jobs that I want to do, and I'm emphasizing more effort in my personal time to learn stuff that I don't know, because a lot of these jobs have stuff and requirement that you don't have. I mean, who got 15 certifications that when they first get out of school? Not me. You know,
No,
so,
no,
you
yeah.
know, these guys got years of it. I mean, I'm gonna learn it, but it's take years to get that kind of training. And I just want everybody in my class to know that, hey, look, maybe you're like me. You starting off fresh, and you wouldn't learn, and you wouldn't apply yourself. And I'm learning, that hey, I'm applying myself. I'm picking up things, and every day I go to class, and every day we in class, I pick up something different. And when I go finish class, I get off on the internet. I go back to my website I'm building, and I try that.
Great, great. That's
Hey,
that's the spirit.
hey,
So
and it's a good thing that you break your website. Don't never look at that as a bad thing. Breaking your website it's purpose for that, because sometimes even in this industry you purposely try to break your website because sometimes there's more efficient ways or better ways to build it. So breaking your website isn't a bad thing. Like breaking, you want to try to do that because especially in cybersecurity, you want, because sometimes there's loopholes that us as new, as new developers, you wouldn't understand that, but somebody who's been doing it for 15, 20 years, it might be a loophole to where they can infiltrate your code. Or but nowadays most security incidents happen through a human interaction, but
Mhm.
you definitely want to break your website.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know that you are in the developer mentality once you get really happy because you got a new error. Like, yeah, it's a different error. It's not working. I don't know how to fix it, but it's a different error. So we are making progress.
yeah.
Sergio, you have a question?
Yeah, so uh, it looks like you help people with their portfolio as we get closer to the end of the program. Is that correct?
Yes, we do have services, not for the portfolio, but we do have services for helping you guys prepare. And I think some of the teachers, 116, 117, will create a project. You will create your portfolio as part of the project there. Your portfolio, I'm talking about your website with your projects. And we also have services that help you getting ready for the interviews, training, review your resume and stuff like that.
Yeah, so my question about that is, so I kind of have an idea of where I want to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, I'd like to get into the field of education because I was a teacher for most of my
Oh,
adult life.
great.
And
Nice.
so I was just wondering if they I know you have counselors, career
Yes.
counselors, and I was wondering if they could just maybe give you some idea. I already have lots of ideas, too many, and I'm working
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of them right now. But just maybe a little more guidance to kind of get you in the right direction, more precise direction.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely can schedule one-to-one with the counselor to talk about your career
Yeah.
options. If you are talking about implementing those, that's my job on 117, 19, 18, 19, and 20. For those that don't know, the last 3 units of this course, it's with me, unfortunately for you. And in there, we create a capstone project. So you will dedicate 3 entire units, 18 classes in total, just to code the project that you want, anything that you want. And I'm there to help you and guide you and come up with something functional by the end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, and you also need to like I just because he said he wanted to be in education. One of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I will always tell people Like, don't go out there for the biggest companies. Don't try to go and work for Google. Like, not yet. Like I always look for startups, like things that are like, that's what I
Mhm.
always try to do. Look for startups somewhere that, you know, it needs developers. It may not be able to pay extremely well. And I call that paying your dues. You may not get paid a lot. Like my internship, I didn't get paid at all.
Oh.
Like, and it was okay because for me personally, it was providing other things. It was put me in that fire and everything like that. And it wasn't a full-time gig. So it was like, okay, I can dedicate, you know,
Mhm.
15, 20 hours of my week to this, and the rest of my week I can do my other things and I can still have my other job and everything. And it
Mhm.
wasn't an overly pressured situation. But that's one of the things in which I say, just don't try to go for the biggest companies. Find one of your local small businesses that may need a developer and they don't got a developer section.
Yeah, I
Something
think
that's cheap and
yeah, that's a great place to start. It gives you a lot of freedom and a lot of responsibility. So it's a great way to start. I may be biased because that's how I started, just working on the small businesses and getting all the responsibility, and that forced me to learn a lot. But I don't want to talk about me. Anyone has any other question for Nakwi? Yeah,
I,
Dr.
I,
Miguel.
I have a question. Naki, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. For those that who don't know me, I'm the Chief Academic Officer of San Diego Global Knowledge University. I run all of the academic programs, and it's for me, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to be here with you guys and to hear your perspectives, Naki. And thank you for taking the time. I'm not a coder. Uh, I'm a social scientist, so I'm going to ask you more of a human type question. Uh, and it has to be with, being a student and making the decision to, make an investment in your education, right? That's not easy to do. Uh, and for some reason or not, you decided to come to SDGKU, which uh, I could speak from the leadership team, we're all grateful for. Um, But from the leadership aspect, we also know that being a student is not easy, right? And I guess my question to you is a general question because I see you and I see this wonderful person that you could see you speak with passion, right? When you speak about coding, your face lights up, and I get the impression that that is something that you feel passionate about. And during challenging times when you're a student, sometimes, and I remember, I've gone through all the levels, right? Like all the way up to PhD. And sometimes you're just like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to make it. You could speak to us about the challenge of being a student and, what you did before, what you're doing now to overcome those days where you're kind of like, oh man, I don't think I'm going to make it.
it's kind of it's the crazy thing about it is that I actually had, during my first time here, I actually had three family members die during that 6 months of being actually in school. And like, it was challenging. It was but I always kind of looked at things like, you got to learn how to enjoy the process of getting where you want to go. Too many times you see people who want to, okay, well, I want to be what I see that person is, or I want to have what that person has, but don't actually want to go through what that person went through to get there. And I just have learned to love the process, the work in between all of the, whether it's the accomplishment of getting a job, or because there's nothing better than completing things that no one expected you to do, or no one thought that you would do. And I'm at the point in my life now where I enjoy the process more than just the outcome of what actually brings. And along the way you meet good people, you learn new things and everything like that. And that's what I always try to keep in my head, is just, this is a process. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have your ups and downs, and things are life going to life regardless of what's going on. But if I can learn how to enjoy the process, if I can learn how to find wins in the little things, I can make it to where I want to go. Because exactly like building a website, it's one step at a time, it's one day at a time. And I have to take those days, whether it's good, bad, or in between. I have to take those days and I have to keep moving. And I try to stay as even peeled as possible. And regardless of what happened in my life, I know where I'm going and I know the legacy that I want to leave. And that's kind of how I look at whatever steps it takes, whatever this journey may take me. I'm okay with it, because I want to say at the end of the day, when I leave this earth, I'm a baller. I used to play ball, so I left it all out on the floor. And that's what I want to say. I left it all out on the floor, and that's with everything that I do in life. So yeah, that's how I kind of take the hard times. And
well said. Thank you for that wonderful answer.
Thank you. Jean Michael, do you have a question?
Yeah, I like to double down on something you said earlier. I come from a different point of view. I did 20 years in the Army as an IT specialist. I got out, retired as a cybersecurity engineer. But I mean, I'm almost tapped out on how far I can go as an engineer. And I started thinking, like, what do I really want to do? So I started looking at coding. So I got a job as a vulnerability management specialist, running scans, finding vulnerabilities. And I was like, this anybody can do this. So I started poking around in DevSecOps, like you said, and they had a position open. So I had to search to get the job. I didn't have the skills. So with this program and all the stuff that I want to do and all the information I already had as far as having CAS and all the other cybersecurity, I'm actually now even writing STIGs for applications that is being developed for the government. That we have a separate developing it, but I'm doing the application security reviews. I'm writing the STIGs lined up to policy. So when the time it hits the web, it's as secure as it can be, because it's always 0 days, but it's as secure as it can be by the time it hit the web. So I just want to say, yeah, if you have an inkling for something, don't be shy to start pivoting, even in your local environment, because you can end up somewhere like, where we are right now. And I never started off to be a coder per se.
And you saying that, it make always, like, you look at, this is a skill, and the beautiful thing about coding and just whether it's full stack or whether it's a front end developer or back end developer, or whether you're an app developer on either side, the beautiful thing about this is this is a skill that can take you anywhere you really want to go. Like, you don't have to go and work for a big company. I could make my living off of, being a freelancer, doing little small jobs for people who can't do it themselves or who don't have the skill to do it themselves. I can make I could build website templates. You look at some of these website templates companies, I could do that. I could, like, and it's just so many different career paths that you can take. And that's one of the things that I loved about, coming into this line of work, because I had so many options to go. And then it just, he said he was in cybersecurity, and that just led me there. Like, I never actually tried to be like, oh, this is what the path that I wanted to go. And that just shows you that, and it's only going to make you more well-rounded just by just learning as much as possible. But a lot of this learning has to come from you and just seeking it out yourself. Because you come to a company, they're just going to, you're going to do the job that you want, that they hired you to do, and not necessarily making you this well-rounded developer who could do a little bit of it all. So, and that's why I took the full stack program. That's how I ended up here, because I seen that they had a full stack program. I wanted to learn front end and back end developing. So just so that I could be well rounded. And I had a military officer who kind of preached to me, and he came to me and he said his grandfather used to uh read the newspaper from front to back. And it's not because he was interested in everything that the paper, everything in the paper, but it was so that he could speak educatedly about anything to anyone at any time. So if he met someone that he was doing business with and they was interested in pickleball, but he didn't like pickleball, but it was in the paper, he could speak about certain things because he actually read it, and he actually seen it, and he knew what was going on within that field. So I always looked at that, and that's how I wanted to be with anything that I do, is that I never stop learning. I'm willing to learn anything because it may come up in my life some way, somehow, and I want to be ready for that moment when it do come. It's nothing more awkward than talking to people and you know nothing about what they're talking about. And
that's great.
That's when you fake it till you make it.
hey, that can backfire though. That's the problem. That can backfire. If you haven't seen it or know what they talking about sometimes.
Yeah. So I don't see hands raised. So if no questions, I have another. Uh, yeah, Leo.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. Naquis, congratulations. You're doing pretty good. Awesome. Nice to see you again. It's been a while, right? I have a question, Naquis. As you know, there are many students using AI nowadays. It's a beautiful tool, AI, but sometimes they are taking advantage of it. So here comes my question. How can students use AI as a learning tool without becoming dependent on it?
To be honest, like it's always best to understand, because AI is still wrong. And I'll give you this perfect example. Let's say you tell AI to add someone into a photo or create a photo, and then AI creates a photo with a extra finger. You don't catch it, but it creates a photo with an extra finger. Now, let's say you put that into your code, and you tell AI to create this code for you, but you don't catch the mistake that AI, but the mistake that AI, the error that AI actually created the code in, or the code that AI created, it has a bug in it. No one catches it. Now you have a hacker or someone that just want to prove that there is some type of vulnerability in your website. And let's say you did this for a small business who don't have the ability to run all of these different vulnerability tests and testing the code in many different ways. And this hacker used this vulnerability to manipulate the website and to grab data and customer information. You effectively have put that person out of business, because it's going to be a lawsuit from there. From there, it's going to be a lawsuit. And the problem isn't that AI made the mistake, is that you didn't know what you were doing to be able to catch the mistake. While AI is good to be able to, I need to create this code real quick, and it's just a small batch of code. But if you don't understand it, then it's pointless, because you don't know what it is that is writing. And what it is that is writing can be harmful to not only to the person who you're writing the website for, but it's customers or whatever it is that is the data that's within the website. Because if they can break the website, I'm pretty sure they can find a loophole to be able to get into the data. And that's the problem. That's why you need to use it as more of, you have to understand what it's writing in order to fix mistake. And it even tells you not everything is going to be, it may not be correct. And if you can't tell the difference between the code, it will be correct. And things are not going to work.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Naquis. Thank you. That's pretty interesting information. And here comes my last question. What's the best way for beginners to practice outside of school?
You said what is the best way of what?
For beginners to practice.
I think the best way for people to practice outside of school is really just find the things that you're interested in. I am one of those people that I don't believe in doing anything that I don't invest in anything that I'm not interested in. So if you're like, find something that you're interested in, find a goal that you want to do. What is it that is it just that you're trying to get a job? Find something that you want to build. Okay, I want to build this app. And then research and understanding your capacity on what you're trying to build and what it's going to take to build it. And then, research it. And that's going to kind of naturally lead you into ways in which what fits you better. And if you're going through the full stack program and you done seen some of these things and you're like, I'm not rocking with this language, then you probably don't want to be building in that language either.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not like, unless it's just like, I can't get around it, which I don't really see that in coding. It's always a different language that you can use. So like, you probably don't want to build in that language. And that's what makes practicing a little bit more natural, is doing something that, like, finding a project that you want to do on your own that fits your own life. That was me. That's how I ended up started practicing on my own. It's just find the things I wanted to build. Okay, I need an app for. I need an app for this, or I need a website for this. I was a chef before I started all of this. I did a little bit of
Oh.
everything. I was a
That's
personal
nice.
chef. I had my own personal chef company for 8 years, and
Okay.
I used to always want to I wanted to build my own website and everything, and I started building that on the side of class. I would do class, and then I would use the information and build my website for my personal chef company. And I did meal prep. So I would use that. So when people wanted to order a certain meal prep for each person, I could handle all of that. And it was something that I was interested in. So that's how I say, as far as practicing, find something you're interested in and go for it. And just research, research, research.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid of anything. It's gonna all look bad at first. Everything gonna look everything gonna look hard at first, especially when you're looking at a blank canvas, like, oh man, where do I start at?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Great insights. Unfortunately, the time is up. I wish we will have another hour just for you to keep throwing these bombs to students. I think it's really valuable what you have shared. I hope the students think the same, and I'm pretty sure they are on my side on this one. So thank you very much, Nakwi, for your time, for your experience, for being here with us again. And I'm really, really glad to have you on iOS. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that. That's great. That's great. I will see
Looking forward to
you
it.
soon.
San Diego Global Knowledge University, Education Beyond Boundaries.